there may be people in the chat who have no idea who you are, given my audience. So maybe you could just introduce yourself first.
Little introduction. Yeah, of course. My name's James or Canefis. I play Valorant. I've been playing professionally for just under a year. Um, yeah, I play Sentinel role. I play in the German league, and I pretty much spend my days trying to get better at the game. And yeah, we're currently in the VRL of the DAC league, so we're in the finals, the grand finals for that. And the past couple of weeks, we've just been practicing daily, and just playing a lot of scrims and a lot of theory. Just doing everything we can to improve at the game. I have a lot of experience in the game. I've been to a lot of LAN events, so I'd say I'm on my way to becoming a seasoned player and trying to break my way into the tier one scene. But yeah, that is me at the moment. That's my whole life. My
Supposedly
voice is low.
no, loud, not low. There's no way you're low. I can
Oh,
see that
kind
you're
of
peaking.
loud.
I think
Okay.
I've probably got you about the same loudness as me now. I fiddled with it. Someone, if he's too loud again, let me know.
Yeah,
Um,
they'll keep adjusting.
yeah, and I can turn him down again if I need to. Um, yeah. So obviously we know each. I mean, other people might not know this, but we worked on just the phone mic. Yeah, I've turned him down a bit, so he should be better. So
Sorry,
we
man.
work
Sorry.
we worked together back on the Goose House. I'm repping the Goose House T-shirt now as well. One of the ones that I
I
had
didn't
back in the
actually.
team. No, it's completely hidden, right? It's like this tiny little logo, and it like just completely gets hidden by the microphone.
Oh, it's
But
clean
yeah,
though. It's simple.
I
I
love
don't
their
mind it.
designs. They're really good. Um,
Yeah,
so that's how we know each other. And then after that, obviously, you went directly to Unicorns of Love after that, right? I mean, you played on a mix, I guess. In the meantime, is that
yeah. So
true?
after the Goose House, obviously Kaiko got offered by Wild, and
Oh
we all
yes,
like
yes.
pushed him. We all pushed him to join Wild, because obviously it was a salaried offer and it was for a French VRL. And then after that, we went our separate ways. I think Swise went to content creation. Danny went back, like started working, and M went
To
to
NA.
America or Canada. Yeah,
Yeah.
Canada, which is very very cool. I think he's doing well now, which is even better. But yeah, after that, I joined Unsigned, which was
Ah,
at the
yes.
time. At the time, it was Misfit, Elio, Luitan, and a Russian player called Stigic. Really, really nice guy. And yeah, that is where we played the English VRC, like the VRC like Nordic, and we that was the first ever Nordic VRC, like the first iteration of the VRCs, and we did really well in that. We came second. We should have really won it, but these things happen. So it was good to go from the Goose House to that team, as it made me a bit it made me a lot better at the game, playing under that team, and luckily I'm still with my IGL Elio in the Unicorns of Love, as we both moved to Unicorns of Love. Oh, 1 second,
It's nice that you're able to. It's nice that you're able to stay together like that. Actually.
Yeah, no, it was really really beneficial for me because I was already comfortable with him, and I assume it's a two-way street. Like I'm sure he enjoys playing with me as well.
I hope so.
And
Well, he doesn't have much choice at this point.
yeah, no, indeed. But yeah, we went to Unicorns, and the rest is history. We met these three amazing German players, really nice guys, Nico, True Lover, and Lucid, and yeah, we just got straight to work, and yeah, now we're one of the best teams in Germany. So it's really nice.
Yeah. So how? I mean, things generally you have performed very, very well as a team, right? So, I mean, I guess what do you put that down to?
Well, there's a lot of things for like why we started performing well at the start. Obviously, as any new team is, like we had to work on the very basics, like fundamentals, playing together, um, peeking off of each other, etc., and having like really smooth fundamentals. So that's what we worked on first and foremost. Obviously, I'd personally say the main reason as to why we gotten so good so quickly was because of the fact that we live together,
Mm,
and obviously
hmm.
we're living together 24/7. Like if there's any bad blood, it gets ironed out really quickly. Like I'm like quite an open book, so like I just say how I'm feeling, and it like kind of gets the rest of the team like saying how they're feeling, so on and so forth. But like every player on pretty much every player on the team was really vocal in like voicing their like opinion and like what we could do to like play better as a team. So that's like another thing as well. Like we're really easy. Everyone's really good at taking criticism
Mm.
and turning it into something obviously that we can improve off of. Like no one like say if someone disagrees with someone, like it doesn't turn into an argument most of the time. Obviously, there is arguments as
Always.
it does happen. Yeah, it does happen, but like we're all friends, so like it nothing really bad happens from it. Nothing detrimental comes from speaking about how you feel. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. I'd say yeah, the main reason why we gotten so good is because we live together and we spend like every day together pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, so it builds a really, really strong team culture, right? And I think, like you say, that openness is super important. Um,
Hmm.
do you spend a lot of time specifically talking about the game when you're not playing? Like you say, like talking about things that people are unhappy with or whatever. Do you set aside specific time for that, or does it just kind of happen naturally?
No, so like we have a lot of workhorses in the team, especially our coach Nagy and Elio and Tree Lover. They then there's never a time where they're not thinking about the game or they're not watching the game. You know, they
Yeah.
never take breaks. Me on the other hand, like I like to have some personal time to myself to be able to like relax. Obviously, I still play ranked and I stream quite often because obviously I enjoy streaming and it's nice talking to people whilst I'm playing and stuff. And it's kind of like different to playing scrims because you're not 100% um, focused and like using
Yeah.
like all of your mental energy. You're just kind of like playing for fun. But yeah, they're always in the custom games. Like James, can you join my game real quick? I need you to stand here. And James, can you learn this molly? And it kind of rubbed off on me. So like I see them working, and I'm like, oh, let me go watch some vods real quick.
Yeah.
Let me cook up something in the lab. And yeah, that's why that's like for instance, Lotus just like recently came out, and
Yeah.
we started playing really well on Lotus because everyone spent a lot of time by themselves watching VODs. Look at like we watched a lot of Locked In. Every like I'm sure everyone did, but like we were like analyzing how we could play um, on the same level as these players and Locked In, and
Yeah.
it was really beneficial for us because like I found some really nice mollies for my agent and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's really beneficial having living together because you're constantly motivated to improve.
Yeah. So let's take a step back from the where you are now. So what do I need to understand about you and I guess where you started to kind of understand, what's got you to this point? I mean, take me right back to the beginning. Like how were you as a kid, What was your childhood like? Um
Yeah, no, of course. So yeah, I was living on the Isle of Wight, which is like the south of England. It's like a very tiny island. There's not much to do there apart from like go to school, play like your sports on the weekend, like your rugby, your football, and then as we got older, obviously I just fell out of love with rugby. I used to play like a lot of rugby when I was younger, and that is when I had like an iPod. I was like, my mum was getting me all of the consoles, like I had a DS, a GameCube. Uh, my mum even had like a Sony Mega Drive where we could play like all the old games. So I pretty much grew up playing games on like my Pokemon on Game Boy Advance and stuff like that.
yeah.
So yeah, obviously after years of playing all these console games, my brother got a laptop that had CS Source on it, and he played like Death Run and Gun Game and stuff. And I really wanted to play, but he never let me because he was just He just wanted to use it the whole time. So what I did, I'd watch him play, and like I figured out his password. So I took his password, like I put his password in the laptop, and I played gun game at like 3 a.m. and then went to school. Like I was just always playing games, and I think it was to do with like my family situation wasn't the greatest. Like my parents had split up. We were like really segregated from my immediate family, like all my cousins and stuff. They all grew up in Ireland, and I grew up in the Isle of
Mm.
Wight, pretty much like segregated from the rest of my like family. And obviously, one half of my family lives in Ireland, and the other half in Africa. So I was just there with me, my family, and then my close friends, which I had a lot of close friends. So I'm very glad about that. But yeah, I kind of used video games as an escape when my parents split up, as I didn't know how to cope with it. Like I didn't get along with my stepdad, and so I moved to my mum's, and then my brother and my sister were comfortable at my stepdad's, so they stayed there. And then like my relationship with my mum became better, and yeah, so I just spent. She spoiled me as a kid pretty much. So she got me whatever I like whatever I asked for, she'd get me because she knew I wasn't happy with like the situation and stuff, and she was really good to me. So I'm very happy about that.
So was it just you and your
Um,
mum living together at that time?
for a
And
while, yeah.
how old were you at that point?
I'd say I was like 11. And when I turned 12, that's when my mum obviously wasn't enjoying living in England anymore. She really was wanted to move back to Africa, and she asked me to move back to Africa with her. And I, like, in a heartbeat, said yes because I just didn't want to live with my stepdad. It was in my mind that I just didn't like him at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've rekindled the relationship now, and we're on good terms. But at the time, it wasn't very nice. So, moved to Africa with my mum. I was there for about a year and a bit, and I hated it. Obviously, like coming from a first world country, going to boarding school, it wasn't good for a little fat English kid. So yeah, I got I got malaria like twice, and the
What?
first time it was yeah. So the first time I got malaria, it was fine because it was kind of just like a flu. You take tablets, you throw up a couple times,
Yes.
and then a couple days later you're fine. But then the second time I got like a different strain of malaria, and it was like cerebral malaria, and that like absolutely ruined me. So I was like in a hospital
Fuck.
getting respirated. I was in a wheelchair, like attacked my nervous system pretty much. And
Bloody hell.
that's when my mum decided to send me back to England, and I moved back in with my stepdad. And
I
yeah, we weren't
see.
getting along, but I was making it work because I didn't like Africa. Um,
Yeah, make the best of a bad situation.
yeah, yeah, of course. Looking back now, I did enjoy my time there, but I'm happy I came back. But yeah,
So at
I
all of those times, you didn't have your own PC, right?
yeah,
So
never
when
had
did
a
you
never
get
had.
your first PC?
Oh, so I to moved back to England, and this was like year 8 at the time. Like moved back
So
to
you're like
England. Oh,
13.
year 9. Yeah, I was like 14, 13 or
Yeah.
something like that. And my brother had got a PC for Christmas, which was like he had a really nice PC. So I like started working because all my friends had like started getting jobs at like cafes and stuff like that. And so I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
let me get a job at a little cafe so I can save up some money. Saved up like £100, and I was just spending the rest on food and like just going like after school. I'd go to like eat food with my friends or go hang out with my friends, and I'd just like waste the money away. So I bought half the PC after saving up like £200, and then for Christmas, my stepdad bought me the rest of the parts, and
Ah.
I bought all the parts, and I didn't even have a monitor, keyboard, or anything. So I'd have to like borrow my brother's when he wasn't using it, and he was so annoyed about it. So yeah, I saved up for all the other peripherals, and then I was on like a 60 hertz monitor, like obviously the worst setup imaginable. I think I
Yes.
was getting like 120 FPS on Counter Strike, which is what I like played at the start. I have like 8,000 hours on Counter CS:GO. Like I was playing that a lot, and that's how I like started like made a lot of friends online. I went to like all the epic lands and stuff like that. And yeah, and as time went on, I was just became more and more invested in the game. I spent every waking second on the PC, like going to school. I really did really bad academically. Actually, I passed a couple of my GCSEs, but I did very badly, and I had to go to college. And my stepdad was really not supportive of me playing video games. So he would I'll digress a little bit. There was one time where I was playing a CS tournament, and if we won that tournament, we would have like qualified for advanced or main, one of the ESEA leagues, which is like a third-party platform where you like compete on CS:GO. And my dad caught me on the PC, and he destroyed my internet router, like the house internet router. He chucked it because I lived on a houseboat. He chucked it into the water, and that stuck with me because I just realized like, yeah, this guy really doesn't understand how like where this could take me. And yeah, that's yeah, I never really forgave him for that, to be honest, because like I got kicked from my team because of it, and
Yeah.
yeah, there was some bad things that went on. But yeah, after that, I was just kind of playing for
Were there any other
fun.
incidents like that, or was that the only time he completely stopped you playing? I mean, I guess you had to
No,
sneak around, right, to be able to play.
yeah. So I was like playing really late at night. Um, Obviously, he wouldn't let me on the PC during the weekdays sometimes, which I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, blah, blah, blah. But obviously, looking back, I was like neglecting my hygiene, neglecting my health, neglecting school. So it was
Yes.
probably for the best a lot of the time. And he did instill some good values into me. So I'm not bashing him for that, but at the same time, I was like, when I was younger, I was so filled with anger at the
Yes.
fact that he wouldn't let me play. But yeah, no, it's like I feel like if I was a dad, I'd do the same thing. You know, I'd want my kid to be healthy and smart. So I wouldn't force him to be. I wouldn't allow him to just waste away on a game the whole time.
It's about
But
balance, isn't it? Right.
yeah, of
It's
course,
about finding
and
the right balance.
making sure you have a healthy lifestyle is the key to playing well. So yeah, I'm glad he did that. I'm glad it happened to me, to be honest, because who I could have been like a I could have been like an absolute basement dweller at this point.
Yeah, it could have certainly gone another way, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Um.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I got my PC. I was playing all day, every day, slowly upgrading my gear. Buying like I remember I used to play you play on a book, and then I bought like a Steel Series QCK. I was like really like I was loving it. Bought like a wireless mouse, and yeah, I was just slowly upgrading my gear, getting better at the game.
So you were
And
like working. You were working on the side, right? You were working in this cafe or whatever to
yeah,
earn the
yeah.
money
So
to do that.
I had I had many jobs. I had many jobs. I was struggling to keep a job. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I just was so lazy as a kid. Like I hated getting up and going to work. I don't know. It was a really bad mindset. But so yeah, I was playing for fun, going to college, and then COVID hit. And obviously, I was in an apprenticeship at the time, and the apprenticeship like they had to just completely fold the whole project because of COVID going into lockdown. And yeah, so my dad had his new wife was really vulnerable to the sicknesses,
Hmm.
and I wasn't following the COVID guidelines as closely as he'd like. Obviously, I was following them, but I was not following them as much as he wanted. So, uh, very big argument, kicked me out of the house, and then I had to go spend the rest of COVID with my mother in Africa for like 7 months, which was really nice actually. I got to like connect with all my family. I got to see my grandparents who I hadn't seen in years, and yeah, it was a really good experience actually. So I'm kind of it was a blessing in disguise. And I came back. The whole time we were in Africa, I was looking for a flat because my dad wasn't going to let me back in the house. Looking for a flat every day. Couldn't find anything. and then we ended up finding a private landlord on the Isle of Wight, and the private landlord gave me and my brother a place, and obviously my brother was still in England, but when I came back to England, we both moved into a flat together, and yeah, that was like a 1 bedroom apartment. He got the bedroom. I was in the living room. I had my PC. He left his PC at the house, so I had my PC, my monitor. I had like a 144 hertz monitor, a decent setup I think I was getting like 100 FPS on Valorant or something. And so one of my good friends, Cray, he was on Mad Lions, 10 star at the time. I think he was on Taron Mill at the time. He was like, I've got an old PC, you can have it for £200. Like, it was a really good spec PC, i7, GTX 1070 or something. And it was like 250 FPS on Valorant. And that was one of the reasons why I became so good, because you need a semi decent setup to be good at the game.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to perform better than all these other players if you haven't got the same amount of frames or a good enough hertz monitor. He sent me the PC. It arrived. I was nerdgasming the entire time because I finally had a computer with good enough FPS. And yeah, that's the rest is history. So when I went to Africa, Valorant beta had released, and that is when all of my CS:GO friends became.
They transitioned, right? And they all went pro.
They transitioned to Valorant, and they all went professional. Like, a lot of them joined Team Liquid or Guild and stuff like that. So I was looking at them like, if I can do this. Like, I believed so hard that I was next, and that's kind of what motivated me to like work all day, play all night, get out. I was like getting up and like swinging my legs out of bed, like working and getting home and playing like 8 ranked games until 6 a.m. and then like going to sleep. It was a really unhealthy lifestyle, but I think the motivation was just powering me through it, because I was like, there's no way I'm letting all my friends go pro and I'm not up there with them, you know. And
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a hard time because I had a lot of different jobs, and I was working at a factory where I'd be like soldering metal components together in like a conveyor belt. So I'd be headphones in, listening to like music or like a podcast, and just soldering all day. Or I was at Subway for a long time as well, just making subs, and that was like a really hard time for me because I wanted to spend as much time as possible playing the game and playing tournaments and stuff, but I wasn't able to because I just wasn't able to because I had to work all the time to pay rent and taxes and buy food and Wi-Fi and all these things I hadn't done before. I just got
So
thrown in the deep end, you know.
You were really just like on that life grind to survive, right? I mean, you were making the money you could to survive so that you could play, right?
Yeah, I was earning like £900 a month, or like just under like £1,000 a month or something.
Yeah, so like
And
barely
like
enough to live on.
Yeah. And our apartment landlord was slowly increasing the price, like trying to make us leave pretty much. And like we weren't going to let that happen, so me and my brother were just working as hard as we can.
Mm.
And I started working from home jobs, so I could like do both at the same time. Like, I was working for NHS Test and Trace Service. I was working for like Wix Kitchen and Bathrooms, like, and whilst I was doing the calls and like organizing redeliveries of COVID tests or like redeliveries of kitchen furniture, I was like watching like my
Pro VODs or
fucking
whatever.
pro vods, or like watching my friends play tournaments and stuff, and I was like, I need to get on their level. So I started going on like online, asking people for how can I get a job in the esports industry so I can be closer to it. As I still had to make money, but I wanted to be even closer. So I got a job at 10 Star, and I was working at 10 Star as like an operational support executive. And I was just like overseeing marketing or something like that. I actually forgotten my job role. I was barely I wasn't really focused on that. Let's put it that way. And I was going to them at the time. I think I was ninth in EU on the ranked leaderboard. So I sent them a screenshot and like, oh, by the way, I'm really good at Valorant. Can I join your academy team? Because I saw they've been tweeting about an academy team, and that's where I joined the 10-star academy team. And yeah, then I was obviously they were paying me enough to survive, barely. I think I was on £800 a month, but that was like insane for a
Yes.
tier 3 UK team that had absolutely no experience whatsoever. So I was
Yeah.
in the dream zone. I was like to my brother, like, I'm quitting everything, mate.
I've got to make
full
this
throttle.
work. Yes.
I'm going full throttle into the 10-star team, and yeah, I was loving it, man. That's where we met you at big time as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean
I
it's an
guess I want to
interesting.
hear your side of it. How did you get contacted by the academy, and like did you go to them, or did they message you, and what were your first impressions of the team as well?
Oh God. I can't even remember. So I'd been on a big break right before I joined what was 10 Star Vulcan. So I hadn't like coached in maybe a year,
Mm,
I think. Something like that, because I'd really like taken the time out to focus on my studies.
yeah,
And I just like put an LFT post out, and I think yeah, someone messaged me. And it just just like complete chance.
mm,
Um Someone messaged me on Twitter, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was on Discord, I don't remember.
yeah.
But God, when we first started, that team was, I mean, you compare to it what you've got now. I mean, I think you could pretty easily say we were pretty trash when we started, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
it was
trash is an understatement.
yeah, but I also think that for me, like that team, I mean, I take a lot of love from that team because it was so the progression that we made in that team was huge for everyone. I mean, everyone was a much better. I mean, I'm a much better coach for that team. I think that you're probably a much better player for that team. I think we all gained so much experience. I mean, we really went from like dog shit bottom of tier 3 to
Semi
we were
decent, yeah.
yeah. I mean, we were competitive with tier 2 teams at the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, we
So
took a map off OG. I think that's the best we did when we had Ego Peak. But then once we got Kaiko, we were like 2 rounds away from qualifying for Polaris.
yes.
So that was a kick in the guts, to be fair, to lose to that Yonk Bonk, I think, or Yonk.
Yeah, it was,
I
but
can't
yeah,
remember.
was it? Maybe they were called Yonk. Yes, I mean, but that was
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, we were one round goes the other way, and it was a different. I mean, we were playing Polaris, and I mean, I think who knows, the whole universe would be different, and at that
the
point, right?
butterfly effect.
Oh, it
Yeah,
would be. It would have been a completely different thing. Sorry, I also want to say that I will answer questions at the end because people are putting questions in the chat, but I want to save them till kind of we're finished. Um, if that's all right, James, or I can ask them if you want to
yeah.
have
We
the
should. I
questions.
think. I think we should dip and dab. Like
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I have more questions that I've written down. But
yeah.
okay. So do you think if you'd had a good PC from the beginning, it would have been different? Do you think if like your parents had money and your stepdad was like, oh, I'll just buy you a £2,000 PC when you're 13, do you think it would have been different? Do you think it would have been better, or do you think it would have been worse? Actually,
I honestly, it's so hard to say that because I think when I was playing CS, I was not in a good mental state.
mm,
I was like partying with my friends a lot, or like I wasn't fully involved in improving and stuff like that. So I feel like if they gave me everything, then I would have just become a basement dweller. To be honest, like an incel or something. I don't know. I don't know what the right word for it is,
no,
but
I understand what you mean. I mean, I think you mean it would have
it would
you
have
would have
hindered me more rather.
yes, because you wouldn't have had to work to make it happen, right? Like you have done
Yeah,
now. I mean, this is what I feel about you. Whereas like you had to do what you needed to survive, right? And I think you knew that you didn't want to work in a factory soldering bullshit together for the rest of your life. I
no,
mean, it would have
yeah,
been
no,
such a
hundred
waste,
percent.
right?
It was a big kick up the arse, to be fair, working because I had so many different jobs and I tried so many different things. I'm even like a qualified electrician, so I'm qualified to.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I went to college to do electrical installation, so I'm legally qualified to wire up domestic houses. But I
I didn't
hated
know
it.
that. That's so random,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. And I did computer science. I did catering in college. I tried everything, but none of it was grasping me as much as playing video games
I don't
did.
know. I feel like you're the definition of ADHD, though. I think in a lot of ways, right?
Would you say that? I wouldn't say I have that
Yes.
much. I don't know if I have that many. I'm not diagnosed or anything, but maybe I do.
I mean, in that sense, maybe. I think I'm not trying to diagnose you. I'm certainly not qualified to do that. But I mean, from my understanding, I think that's often something that people struggle with. Is to stay focused on
Yeah,
one task, like over much longer periods of time, right?
yeah, no, I would agree with that.
I like Bambino's
I mean,
question as well. Sorry, you finished what you were gonna say.
no, no,
Or
I'm all done. I'd say if they spoon fed me everything I wanted, then I wouldn't be where I am today. So
yeah.
I'd say no. I'd say if I had a good PC from the beginning, I wouldn't be as good as I am today.
Mm. But at the same time, you need to get one eventually, because otherwise you just can't be competitive, right?
Yeah, no, it was. I can't thank my friend Cray enough because he was really open to just giving me his PC like for really cheap anyway. Like it was absolute bargains, and that was what kickstarted everything for me. So I really do appreciate him for that.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Do you think Prime
it's
TGH is the best UK team? I say, at the time, what team was Rick's GG? Maybe Rick. I don't know if us and Rick GG were the same team, or Taron Mill as well. I don't know if they were even a team at the time when we were Prime TGH.
no, I don't think so. I think they had folded by the time
But
we
I'd
were.
say I'd say every team that's been to Epic Land, Prime TGH would win. Like apart from obviously online Epic Land, there was a lot of good teams that played online, like Epic WAN, I think it's called. Um, but yeah, no, I'd say there was a period when we were playing good enough to be considered one of the best teams in UK.
I
I'd
don't
I'd
think
like
we
to
would
say so
be.
anyway.
I don't know if our primary would be LPB, but I guess it's like the meta has kind of moved on, so it's very hard to know where the team would
Yeah,
be.
I guess. Oh, true, true, true. Yeah, I mean versus all the other Epic Land winners when they won. Yeah,
Prob-
that's a tricky one because there was
it's
some
very hard,
there
isn't
were
it?
some really insane mixes, like the one with Lincoln. I think Lincoln Solcat were in the mix. But yeah, I'd say there'd be a good chance we could win on a good day because we had an extensive amount of practice compared to all the mixed teams.
Well, some of the
So that
Fnatic players played at Epic Lands before, right? But they were CS:GO. It was before Valorant was around as well, because they were
no, yeah, true.
above that point, right? Like I know that Boaster and Mini won Epic Lands.
Yeah, my first Epic Line, I sat opposite Boaster and
Really,
Zliggy. Yeah,
that's really
yeah,
cool.
I was sat opposite them, and I remember like I was like me and Link playing the same positions in CS:GO. Like he was like a an anchor. I think he was like a Biap player on Mirage and stuff like that. And I was like a big fan of him. So I watched the stream. I'd see I'd see the game end and they won, and then I'd go up to him and be like, "Oh, nice, well played, mate. What was the score?" Like trying to spark up conversation with him, like
Yeah,
so I could talk to him and shit.
networking,
So that was
networking.
yeah, yeah. I always was really like I always wanted to talk to people and like make friends and stuff because feel like that's one of the easiest ways to like
Yeah,
grow is to just obviously speak to people and be a nice person, and that's kind of how I like to operate on social media. Like just make friends, and it's always nice to have loads of connections, especially in a game like Valorant.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I like
Yeah.
This is an interesting. I've asked James this before, but what's the best way to transition from CS to Val? Or I might even ask you this: with the rumors of CS:GO 2 to transition from Val to CS:GO. Have you looked about it? What are your thoughts on it as well? I'm interested to
My
hear.
thoughts on CS Source, like on the Source 2, I've obviously seen it online, but I'm too focused on improving at Valorant to even care about Counter Strike anymore. Like I tried at Counter Strike, I have like 8,500 hours on Counter Strike, like
It's
and
enough.
I never got to a point where I felt like I could have gone professional. So I'm not gonna switch to Counter Strike Force 2. I feel like I'm gonna stay on this game for like I'm gonna have a career on this game. I'm not gonna have a career on Counter Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about the
But
transition
the
from
best,
CS to Val?
yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, the transition was a bit weird because I was getting to a point where CS:GO was kind of stale. All of the Faceit hubs I used to play were dying out, and no one was playing them as much. And everyone was in like the gap was slowly increasing. Like teams were getting better, and I was not on a team, so I was just sat there like not really playing the game as much. And that's when the beta for what was it, Project A got announced, and there was the time where it got released, and you had to watch a Twitch stream to get a drop. And I left
Yes,
my
I remember
computer
that.
on. I left my computer on like for 3 days straight on screen stream, and I got a drop on like the third day, and I was like on 60 FPS playing Valorant because that was before I even got my new PC off Cray, and yeah, I was loving it, man. I have a video on my YouTube of me playing at like 60 FPS, 40 FPS or something, and I was like swagging out because I played CS:GO for so many hours, and like all these guys were like noobs,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I was loving it. I was playing 10 mans with all of the UK people, and it was really good fun. And then obviously COVID hit. I had to go to Africa, and that's when everyone became good at the game. And I came back and I started the grind.
Mm, mm.
Um, but yeah,
So
that's
I've got a lot of interesting future questions. I think we've kind of covered your past, right? I mean, unless there's anything you
yeah, I'd
think
say so.
about
Yeah.
the past that kind of is influences kind of where you've come, because I think the hardships you've gone through really have shaped your progression. Like you say, I mean, the bad things, the fact that you didn't have a good PC, that the situation at home wasn't great. That's
Yeah,
what drove you to want to escape and to play games, and you then thought, well, I have to make it work. Like you had no other choice, right? I mean, in my mind, if I was you, no, I'm not saying you couldn't have held down another job, right? But like you were like, fuck, do I want to do anything else, right? There is no other option that is a good choice. I have
yeah,
to make it work.
yeah. Literally,
I mean, I remember what it
I
was like
remember.
in the Goose House, right? And I mean, I don't think your brother was super chuffed about you playing all the time either, right?
No, no. But like once we started, like once the Goose House were like taking us to London to boot camp and stuff,
Yeah.
and like the Goose Land, that's when my brother's eyes kind of like his opinion on how good I was changed, and he started really, really supporting me, and I'll always thank him for that. But obviously, he still was upset with me spending every waking second on the computer, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Once we like won Epic Land and we started doing really well, and I joined Unsigned, he was like really supportive, and he was like really hyped to see me do well. So
That's good.
that was really nice of him.
How do they feel now that you're living in Germany? Like, particularly your stepdad. I'm quite interested to kind of know how that's... Because I remember us walking down the street in London. I don't know if you remember this. Outside the train station, we had this discussion. And I said to you, you're going to prove your stepdad wrong. I mean, I remember saying
Yeah,
this to you. And
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I hope so. So, I mean, I guess what does he think now? Has his opinion changed? Is he still skeptical?
Yeah, so um, when I got the offer, obviously I was like pacing around my room because they were trialing. I had 1 day to trial for unicorns, or like a couple days to trial with unicorns, and obviously I'm playing Sentinel role, which is like a very it's like you have duelist players and you have Sentinel players. Like that's how there
Yes.
was a lot of Sentinel players that are like really good at the game. So they were trialing a bunch of different players. All of them were really, really good. I think one of them was asking for too much money, so they cancelled him out, and it was between me and one other person. And I was writing to Elio on Discord every 5 minutes, being like, "Verdict, verdict! Like, what are you guys talking about?" What? And then, he was just replying to me like, "Oh, they were just watching a VOD of you now," or like, "They're just watching some highlights or something," or like trying to look at my VODs and see how I'm playing and stuff. And obviously, I hadn't even spoken to our coach at the time, Nagy. I'd just been tracking with the four players, and yeah. So luckily, they got me into a team speak. Like, Canefis, we're not offer you the position. Blah, blah, blah. And I just like was. I played it cool. Obviously, I was like, yeah, nothing's
Yeah, I
going
know
on.
what you're
Like, yeah, this is,
like. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine.
And then
You close your
yeah,
PC. Focus.
yeah. I got in and I ran to my brother's and I just like collapsed on his bed like with my arms out and like I got in, and then he like dogpiled on top of me. It's like really we were both hyping each other up, and then obviously I a couple of days later they sent me the flight tickets, and that's when I rang my mum and I was like, yeah, I'm moving I'm moving to Germany tomorrow. And she was like, wow. And then she was just absolutely gobsmacked and she was really proud of me. She was like crying and stuff. And then I was like to my dad, I was like, come to Weatherspoons tonight. Like the family are like, I'll pay for it because it was like close to his birthday or something. Oh no, I didn't even. We just arranged to go to Weatherspoons for a meal, and that's when I told him, oh yeah, by the way, I'm moving
By
to
the way.
Germany.
Oh, just by the
Yeah,
way, little
yeah,
side
yeah.
side gig.
I really wanted to like slam dunk him just to like in your face, you know. And yeah, he was like gobsmacked. He was like teary eyed, and like everyone was really happy for me. Yeah, so it was a really good experience to like finally prove to them that I was good enough to play professionally. And
Mm.
yeah, it was a really heartwarming moment for me because he was really proud of me and stuff. And I was just kind of like, at the time, I was like really smug, like, oh, wish you didn't. I bet you wish you didn't break my router when I was
Yeah.
14 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. That wasn't the best way to go around it. Really, I'm just happy that he's happy for me now, and you know they always message me, ask me how I'm doing and stuff. So it's really nice.
Yeah. How often do you get to go back and see them? I mean, because obviously you're pracking a lot, and because obviously the split's coming. You will presumably you'll get a bit of a break once after the end of the split.
So yeah, this split ends obviously this weekend, and then I think we have like 1.5 weeks off, and then the second split starts. So yeah, I don't plan on going back to England to be honest. I think we want to go on like a couple days holiday somewhere, like
Oh,
as a
nice.
team. But
Yeah.
We'll decide when the time comes. But for now, I have no interest in going back to England. I'm loving it in Germany to be honest. It's so nice. Like
Yeah.
the
How's your Deutsch coming? I've seen the Duolingo grind.
uh
Have you kept up the
yeah
streak?
my
Oh, I know what
my
you're
Deutsch is
like. I know you too
nicht
well,
good.
James. There's no way. There's
Yeah.
no way you've kept up more than a 4 or 5 day streak in a go. I'm telling you.
No, I had a 14-day streak.
Oh, you managed
Like
2 weeks. Okay, I'm impressed.
yeah, yeah. I was I don't know why I even stopped. To be fair, I just stopped, I guess, and I was just too busy playing the game. Honestly, I spend a lot of time playing the game, or if I'm not playing the game, I'm eating and sleeping.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like all I'm doing is play. All I'm doing is trying to be the best I can be at the moment, and our goal as a team is to like make the sun run. You know, I think no one said anything about it, but like we all know we're in a position to like change our lives right now, and we just have to do everything we can to make sure that happens. Like imagine like if we go from VRC, winning VRC, getting invited to the league, and then winning the league, and then winning Ascension, it would be like a dream come true. But
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not counting my eggs before they've hatched or anything. But you know, we're playing really well as a team, and we're just taking every day as it comes. I mean, there's some good days, there's some bad days, and we're really good at handling those bad days and keeping everyone's energy levels up. And you know, I've been sick the past couple of days, and my energy, like you know me, how I'm like on a team. I'm like really hype. I'm always shouting,
Yeah.
like that. I haven't been doing that as much. So like everyone's been like pushing me on and stuff like that. It's hard when I feel ill because I just have really bad motivation and if I'm not keeping myself, if I don't have a good balance, then obviously you just everything starts to get worse. Like if you don't like I've been exercising recently, and that's been making my mood like 100 million times better. Like,
Yeah.
and I can't recommend anyone. I can't recommend enough to exercise daily because you just feel amazing when you exercise in the morning, and then you come to prac and you're just like really on the ball, and your brain is just working 100 miles an hour, and it's just really really nice compared to when you get on the PC like 20 minutes before prac,
Yeah,
you
the
have like
whole
some
when
water and
like you used to, just swinging your legs out of bed and flopping onto your PC chair. I can't imagine that's anywhere near as nice as going to the gym. You feel really fresh. You come in and you're really focused and ready to go. It's a big
yeah, of
difference
course.
maker, right?
Yeah, no, it's like once I moved here, I started becoming or trying to at least become more professional. Like because
Yeah.
obviously I'm living here permanently, full time. I want to set a good example for the people that put me here. You know, like I want them to be impressed with me. I want them to want to keep me. You know, I don't want to. Yeah, I want to have a good impression on people. So I just thought it'd be now's the time to start acting more professional. Like this is my job technically. So time to make myself look like I'm working at least.
Yeah, so what would you say to people that are like, I guess, in tier 3 now about their like attitude and how they could maybe set themselves in a better position to make that transition towards, especially now, like with there being a lot of smaller VCLs, right? I think if
Mm.
you're a decent player, there's a lot of teams in. I mean, I don't want to call out the worst performing leagues, but I mean, we all kind of have ideas about which leagues are maybe weaker than the others, VCL wise. You know, they
Yeah.
need players, right? So how do you think you would set yourself up to kind of be on one of those teams
Mm.
and be paid, right? I mean, they're all
Yeah, of
salaried
course.
positions, even if it's only a part-time salary.
Yeah. So for me personally, I feel like if you're coming into the scene, you're a tier three player. I'm assuming you already have some people you're like in a you have like a social group online that you like spend time with, and what you want to do is align yourself or play with people that are on your level, if not better than you. And obviously, you're going to get criticism a lot, and you might even get um, like you might. It's hard. It's hard to explain. It's like it's a mixture of networking and playing enough to the point where you are catching people's eyes. You know, like you're like it's a hard question, man. It's a long-winded question. Like
Take your time. I mean, we got time, right? So
yeah, yeah, yeah. So if I wanted to improve, if I wanted to, like, say I'm like a Mortal 3 close to Radiant on Valorant, and I wanted to start playing professionally, first off, you'd have to be active on social media. You want to be messaging as many people as you can. Can you VOD review for me? Can I trial? Do you guys need anything? Can I watch one of your VODs? Like, be annoying to the point where they either say yes or they just give it to you so you go away and like and just and like absorb as much as you can and be ready to be criticized to the point where it hurts. It's like it's not easy being at this level and staying at this and staying like it's not easy getting up to this point. It's like it takes a lot of pressure in it. Like there's a lot of times where things don't go your way or you lose and you're like you're just like you want to. There's a lot of times where I've just wanted to like not play, but like I always like you have to keep in mind like what you want to do in life. Like if you really want to be a pro player, then you have to be ready to be criticized. You have to be ready to do everything in your power to get what you want, and whether that be from networking and speaking to people or watching your own games back or playing ranked as much as you need. Like you as a person, if you're competent enough, you'll know what you need to do to improve. And it's like it's always the things you don't want to do that you need to do to improve in everything in life. And I think that also correlates to Valorant as well. Like
mm.
you're scared to like message people to play because you don't want them to say no. Like get the fear of rejection out of your mind and like start getting like be ready to just be outside of your comfort zone in that sort of way.
I,
Like
I also
you have Go on, go on.
I think the thing that you said as well about messaging people, I think people don't realize how willing people are to give help out, right? I mean, you tell me how many players have ever messaged you for a VOD review. I bet the answer's 0, or maybe 1 or 2. Like, it's not
Yeah,
going to
like
be a
no
huge number,
more.
right?
Yeah, no more than I think no more than like 2 people. Yeah.
And if I was an Immortal 3 player and I messaged you and was like, "Hi James, I've been watching you play. I love these highlight plays from you. Like, would you sit down with me?" And if they kept on badgering you, you're gonna cave at some point, right? I mean, I know you
Yeah,
only
of
have so much
course, of
time in the
course.
day, but people
Like, yeah,
people love that appreciation, right? If someone comes and says that to you, like, you feel great in yourself too.
yeah, no, 100%. If someone's asking me for advice, obviously there's not going to be. I'm not going to have a lot of time for him, but I'm gonna like point him in the right direction at least. Like I'm not gonna leave him dry and I feel like I'd feel like a dick. I'd
Yes.
feel rude. Pardon me. I'd feel rude if someone asked me for help and I didn't like give anyone help because so many people have helped me get here, and it's not like
Mm.
it's not been like think about how many times you're watching me play and you're like we VOD review and you're like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you doing this? And I'm just sat there like, yeah, to be fair, that wasn't the right thing. Or I'm like, sometimes I even argue back and I'm like fighting my corner, and you just keep pummeling me down until I'm like, yeah, finally, like, yeah, that was a terrible play. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
I've lost my train of thought.
No,
Lost
no.
my
I
train of
think
thought.
I think you kind of covered it. I think the other point you were making before this actually about kind of showing yourself off, right? I think that although you could be on a team, you can message people, you can get as much advice as possible, right? And you're going to try your best. You're going to give 110% to try and improve, right?
Yeah,
But beyond that, I think what you were saying about being top of the ladder, right? That gets people's eyes on you, right? Or highlight reels, those things get eyes on you, and that's this kind of people are looking for that star instinct. If you really want to be playing at the top, there's probably less than 100 people that are doing this in the world that are paid enough money to live on it, right? Um, so right in
yeah,
that
around
kind
that
of
number. Yeah,
region, right? And maybe it's a bit more than that, right?
yeah,
A few hundred people that can actually live on it. So, you have to be in the top 100 people, 200 people in the world. So you really have to be able to put up those kind of highlight reel plays, even if it's just in ranked, posting like YouTube clips or whatever. Because I think
yeah. No,
you could probably also think back to this as well, like with Keiko, right? I mean, we all saw it. We knew he was going to get picked up because the clips that he got from our Polaris qualifier games, I mean,
yeah.
it's a no-brainer, right? Anyone saw him. He was an instant pickup.
Yeah, no, of course. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Kaiko will be franchising in the next coming years. He's so young. He was the
Yeah.
smartest player on our team, and yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be franchising at least once in his life. He's definitely got the work ethic, and he's got the ability to play in that region. So yeah, no, that I'd say posting your clips on social media is a very, very good way of getting your name on the map. Like, especially if it's like insane clips, like stuff people haven't seen before. It always gets eaten up on like TikTok or Twitter and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I'd definitely have to agree with you there.
I mean, watching you anchor a site and just get a 4K, that always makes me feel good. So, you
It
know,
doesn't happen that much. It doesn't happen that
no,
much.
no, it doesn't, right? But the thing is, like, it looks great. You only need to get a few of those a year. You get your highlight reel. See, it's
Yeah,
you know, come on, 3K is
hundred
great.
percent.
3Ks are great if you're anchoring sites as Sentinel. Like you've done your job.
You have
Plus
done your
two.
job indeed.
Yeah,
The thing,
exactly. Right.
yeah, my issue is they execute my bomb site. I get one, I see the second, and I'm dead before my team's rotated. So that is how that's what I need to improve on at the moment. And
Well,
these mistakes happen, and it's all about just what was that? What was someone was telling me the other week, like, you want your C game to be everyone else's B game, and you want your A game to be everyone else's. Like, I don't know. It's
S
some. It
tier.
was,
No,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
what you're
exactly.
saying. Like your bottom, your absolute worst day needs to be as good as someone else's B game, C game. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 exactly. That's exactly what they said, and I feel like I'm trying to get to that point right now, but there's some days where I'm just not playing well at all, and it does make me sad, but it's not like I'm not letting it get to me. I'm coming to the next day still as much like with as much fire in as I did have when I was playing well and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And that's another big thing. You need to let your emotions go, and you need to make sure you're ready to perform not as well as you expected, because it happens to everyone, and you need to be able to handle it. And
Mm.
it's a very hard one because I'm still working on it myself. So
Yes, I mean, truly, the emotionless robot would be the best player, right?
yeah, like Leo, for instance, that guy gets a ace clutch. He's
He's
just
like,
there, just
oh,
like,
yeah, he's like, all right.
good
He's
job,
like,
good
just
job,
doing the
guys.
fist bumps. Yeah, well done, everyone else. It's
Yeah,
okay.
like,
Don't worry. Just doing my job.
yeah, no, he's ice cold, and I feel like if you can be an emotionless player, one, it's like really good for like losing in like clutch situations. It's like it keeps if you have a consistent mind state the entire time, then you're going to be more consistent as a player. Like
Yes.
if because I get really hyped up sometimes, and then the
Yeah.
next round I like
You
yeah
go for
I'm
you go
it's
for a
like a
crazy
roller
push, and
coaster.
you get slapped for it, and then you're at the bottom again.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, 100%.
I mean, we talked a lot about this in the Goose House, right? The whole round by round mentality. I don't know if you probably haven't watched it yet, but the Fnatic comms video in like three of the clips, they're saying round by round, guys, round by round. I mean, I'm just
No,
like
I
that.
haven't watched the video yet. I'm definitely going to watch it tonight though.
You should. It's really
I've
good.
seen that clip everywhere. It's such a nice story from both. So it's really cool actually.
It is. I think we're all very proud of that as a UK player. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
no,
he's
100%.
he's a real inspiration for all of us, right?
Yeah, most
Um,
definitely.
so about how do you feel going into the finals? Because it's only a few days away, right? It's on the 12th, right? So it's Sunday. Is that the
Yeah, this
finals?
Sunday, first BO5. Oh no, second BO5 of the team. Last BO5 we played, we lost. We didn't pick a map. It was versus Enro Griffins in Project V. But
Oh, so
I'm
it's been a
sure this time's
long
going to be
time.
different. Yeah, nearly half a year at this point since we played a BO5. But no, I'm really looking forward to it, man. Everyone's playing really well right now. I'm performing well individually, so that always feels nice. But yeah, no, I'm the whole team is putting in a lot of work to improving, and if things don't go our way, things don't go our way. We've been there before. We can do it again, and if we win, then all the better. Like we've gotten to the point in this split where first or second, I think there's like a 20-point difference. So I'm going in wanting to win. No, that's always the goal. But I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, or
Mm,
to I'm focused on the win, but I'm ready in for both scenarios. If I'm obviously it's obviously going to hurt, and it always hurts really really badly to lose, but you have to be accepting of these things, and I'm really looking forward to Split 2 because that's where all of the marbles count. Every team that just recently formed in the DAC League is going to have an extra month of practice under their belt. Everyone's going to be a lot better than this previous split because there were
mm,
teams that I thought would do well that didn't do as well as I'd imagined. Like Alternate Attack, for example, they have a really strong roster, but they didn't perform um, as good as I expect them to. So I know for sure the second split, they're going to put everything like they're going to be hungry to improve and show everyone that they're really good players, and we just have to
mm.
stomp them again. We can't we're gonna have to put in just as much work as these teams that want to prove themselves to ensure that we make ascension, and
Do
yeah,
the
that's the
count?
goal right now.
Do the points from both splits count towards ascension, or is it basically you have to win the second split? I'm
No,
not
yeah.
actually
So
sure.
so this split, if you win, you get 170 points, and second gets 150 points, I believe. And then next split,
Okay,
if you win, you get 230 points, and then second gets 180 points. So it's a big difference compared to this current split.
I see. So the second
So
split
yeah,
matters a lot more.
yeah, most definitely. If you aren't, if you say we think like if we come second this split and win next split, then we're 100% in ascension.
Thanks for the sub, bro.
Um, as far as I'm aware.
I
But yeah,
see.
that's how it's going to work. But yeah, no. If we say there's a tiebreaker and second split, I think there's an extra BO3 to decide who goes to Ascension, which will be very exciting.
Wow. Okay. My God. A lot. So there's a lot of pressure on that second split. Um.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of pressure, but like a lot of people didn't expect us to do this well anyway in our first split of the VCL.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I'm kind of feeling like as long as we play well as a team and we show that we're good players and we have really good fundamentals, then I'm sure it's eventually there's going to be a point where we get what we want. We put the work in, and yeah, there's no reason for us to be upset, or there's no reason for us to be angry that we lose, because we know our value as players at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not gonna be like win or lose. I'm really not too bothered. Life's gonna go on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I'm like qualifying for Ascension, if not in a franchising team, at least once in my life. I'm not gonna not let that happen. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten this far now. Like why would I stop working hard? That's
So
that's my mindset at the moment.
you spiraled very well into a question I wanted to ask you. So if you could play
Yeah,
for, well, I have two questions. One, if you could play for any organization in VCT, who would you want to play for? And the second question, is there any player in the franchise league that you would really like to play with, or players?
play as.
No, play with. Like, who is there? Anyone you'd like to be on a team with that's in VCT?
Um, Honestly, not in particularly. Maybe like I'm really like our team right now. Like we have a really good team dynamic, and everyone really gets along with each other. I wouldn't say there's anyone in particular I'd really want to play with, but maybe Soulcast because he's a friend of mine.
Mm,
Like it'd be so fun to like play on the team with him. He's a really good player as well. Or Russ. Russ is a really good friend of mine as well. But obviously he's not currently in VCT. But obviously he's went to masters and stuff like that. But
yeah,
but yeah, no, the organization. There's no organization I'd rather play under. To be honest, these guys have treated me really well, and they're doing everything in their power to give us a good situation. And yeah, there's some slight issues with the building at the moment, like with internet problems, and they're making sure that we're not getting any packet loss or like our ping's not spiking or anything. So I'm really thankful for that.
yeah,
And they've set us up with a really good opportunity to improve. So I'm going to be forever grateful for the Unicorns of Love.
yeah,
Really nice guys, really really welcoming, and they're like they. It's not like a business. It feels more like a family. You see them every day. They greet you and stuff. It's a really nice experience living here, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
yeah. I think you. I mean, I want to echo that. I think for me, that team culture is the most important thing at this
Yeah,
level, right? Like, everyone can sit down and grind and come up with strats. Everyone can do that, right? I mean, everyone can put in more time if they have the effort, right? But the culture of the team is essential for success. I mean, you have to have, like you say, that openness, that full trust in each other, because that is what pushes you over the finish line. I mean, I think it shows in those situations when you're under pressure. And like you say, I think people maybe underestimated how well your team would do, because people underestimate how much the culture matters.
yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Like when you're playing alongside each other and you've been practicing for 8 9 months, like it makes the win all that sweeter. I still
Yeah.
remember we during the DAC Evolution tournaments, we came top four in Project V, which is like the German VRC, and we qualified for the DAC Unity tournament, which is like 8 teams from Project V and 8 teams from the DAC Unity in a tournament, and we did really well in that. We got to the finals, and every win was like a huge boost to our morale. Like we were really, really happy
Mm.
winning against these established organizations, and it made the org really proud of us and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really. I mean, I'm so happy for your success because I know your personal backstory quite
Yeah.
intimately. So I mean, I know how hard you've worked for
Thank
it,
you, mate.
right? Um, far harder than I know a lot of people have worked. So
No, yeah, that's always the plan, man. If you're ahead of the curve, you're gonna get where you need to be. But I just need to keep consistent, and yeah, the rest will be history.
yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of wrapped up my questions. There were some questions on Twitter. I don't know if we should probably look at those because
Yeah, no, of
there
course.
were quite a few. Um, from Danny, this one made me laugh. What? Who was your favorite teammate, and why was it Danny?
Danny was a great teammate, man. He was really chill, really easy to get along with. He's really funny, and he's obviously insanely cracked. Like his aim was insane. There were some rounds where he'd just pop off like ridiculously sometimes, and you
You
can
talk
never
about
go on.
Sorry, no, I was going to say you talk about people like that don't get too high and don't get too low. I feel like Danny for me a lot of the time was like that. He was very consistent in his mentality. It's sad actually that I think that he doesn't play anymore because you know
Yeah, no,
like
he was a great player, man.
everyone
I
on
still
that
remember
team
back in
had
the
so
day.
much potential.
Yeah. No, 100%. Everyone had what it took, and
Yeah.
I still remember when I first met Danny. His name was Storm Danny, and he played UKPL. And like this is like a Counter Strike Face It hub where we'd all play together and just have a good time. And he would queue up and he'd 30 bomb every game. I was convinced. I was absolutely
You thought he was
convinced that Danny
hacking?
was a cheater. Yeah, bro. There was no way. I was like this guy
Oh,
I've
that's
never met
great.
before. Like I was like, there's
He's
no
got to be
way he's not a
cheating, bro.
cheater.
He's got to be
Yeah,
cheating.
and he was just generally insane at Counter Strike. And I think he's like dabbling in Counter Strike at the moment, but yeah, he's still working. And no,
I wouldn't
I
be
big
surprised if
respect to
he
Danny.
came back for Counter Strike 2, right? For Go
I'd
CS:GO
like to
2.
think so because he's an insane player. So we'll see how it goes. Danny is still nuts. Exactly, Dak. Good to see
Yeah.
you in the chat, mate. Hopefully you're doing well. But
So since Deck's here, how was your experience with the Goose House, and how do you think former teammates will do in the future?
oh, the Geese House were amazing to us. You know, they sent us Red Bull. That was really nice of them. They took us to two boot camps and they sent us to Epic Land, all paid for. Like, there's no complaints. Like, they're a perfect grassroots UKCS org, and now they're like tournament organizing for the VRC. So, you know, they're really like everyone there is
Mm.
really great. I don't think I don't know if like Mate's still working there, but yeah, Dan, really nice guy. Deck, absolute saint. Ross, Pyrus, Pyrus, what's her name? Oh my god, Pyrus Cynical? I don't remember her name.
Yeah,
Oh,
Pyro. It was Pyro. I
yeah,
remember it.
Pyro. Yeah,
Yes.
she was really nice. Lucid. There were so many lovely
There's
people
so
there,
many
and
people, right? Yeah, it's a big
yeah,
community.
it was a very lovely community, and they let us in with open arms. So no, massive respect to them. They were really supportive of us, and it was amazing. Even the watch parties, I remember them watch partying our games, and they were super hyped when we won. So sorry, I'm shivering right now. I need to close the window, but
Oh,
I'll
you go.
leave it.
You can close. You close the window. I'll grab a drink really fast, and you close your window, and then we'll carry on. Because there's quite a
Okay,
few.
perfect.
There's quite a few questions.
Okay, no worries.
Speed run.
Be right back, team. Be right back. Oh, look at this! Look at this! I'm using my fucking lamp for some lighting. Can you imagine? I don't want it to break.
Oh, I should show. You show that. Like, I mean, my set. So my setup is literally like a little desk. It's like I've got like a lamp there. It's not like a. I don't have like a proper stream setup or anything. I just have like a
Yeah,
lamp that
well,
shines against my wall, and it
the
looks
budget.
like it looks good enough. It gives good enough lighting that it kind of does the job.
Yeah, we're on some
Um,
budget setup right now, but we're making it work. We're making it work.
Misfit has quite a few good questions actually.
Wait, did he ask multiple? I remember seeing the one.
He wrote 3. He's
Okay,
really on it.
perfect.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Well, I mean, we've kind of talked about this a little bit, but if you could go back in time in your esports journey, is there anything you would do differently to be a pro faster?
Anything I'd do differently? I think I would have started working harder earlier. Like because I at this point in time, I know I have it in me to do what I need to do to get where I need to be. So I would have gone 110% earlier because I was like drinking alcohol, going out every weekend with my friends, partying, like wasting time.
Mm.
And all that time, I could have been like seriously becoming a really, really good player. Um, but yeah, no, I'm not too fussed about anything I'd change because those times I had some really amazing times. Like I went on holiday with my friends, and like you need to enjoy life as well. You know, I'm a hard believer that life's here to be enjoyed, and you don't need to be grinding 24/7 every day. But it is it goes hand in hand, right? If you want to be where you want to be, you got to work harder than the rest. And if you want to enjoy your life, you want to enjoy your life, and you got to expect that people are going to be going past you. So yeah, I probably would have put my head down a bit earlier and improved earlier because
Mm.
like I know how to,
Hmm.
but I just wasn't doing it. I was a bit lazy. But yeah,
How do you carry? Or he said, I think he asked for himself. How do I carry a sentinel in ranked, in low or high elo? But
Stenstill in ranked.
yeah,
As a Stenstill in ranked, you just don't rotate. You only rotate until the bomb's down because there's always some
there's
Rainer
always a
lurking.
lurker.
Yeah,
And of course it's the
or
Rainer
you,
as well, you know, yeah. Their one
yeah,
duelist that's Rainer is solo lurking.
yeah. Or like they
Yeah.
have a jet just camping B main, and then the whole team's executing A or something. But yeah. So you always make sure your controller knows what you want to do. Like Omen, if they execute B, smoke this for me, or
Mm.
flash this, flash stairs and come out the smoke, or so on and so forth. You know, you're holding the bomb site, so you need to direct the other players how they want to play around, like how you want them to play around your bomb site. You know, it's you got to treat it like an actual game. Like you want to make sure your teammates know exactly what you want to do, and if they don't do it, then you know that's
That is
unlucky,
what it
and you're
is,
going to
right?
lose the game. Yeah, but as
Yeah.
long as you're communicating enough and making sure that your teammates are aware of what they want to do, then you'll do well. And
I
if you see the Killjoy or the Sentinel, then you're pretty safe to go for a 1v1 on your main. That's what I'd say a lot of the time. Because if the Sentinel's there as well, then they're probably five rushing a bomb site, and you can just contain them really quickly or something like that. And if you get punished, then you can chill out. But you know, test the limits early, and try
mm,
and try and exploit them early, so you can just steamroll them. And if you can't do that, then you can play back on site and kill them as they run into you. But yeah, there's always some sort of limit testing you should do at the start of the game, just to
it's
just to,
true.
to see how much you can get away with. You know.
It's funny you said about the not rotating and the and communicating with I literally wrote a thread on anchoring sites today, so I'm glad I
Well,
have I still have some idea what's going on, so that's good.
yeah, no, of course you do, man. And
Um
even your recent threads, they've been amazing. So keep it up.
I
They're really nice.
honestly I'm so happy with the like how well they've done actually. Like it's been a kind of surprising, I guess. Like I didn't expect to I think I've gained like 20% of my followers in like the last month. So
That's amazing.
I'm
Really,
I'm really I'm
that's
really
seriously
chuffed with
impressive.
that. I'm definitely
No, congrats,
leaning into the content now. Um,
bro. Have you seen Vladkor? That guy's farming. So
yes,
keep it up.
I
That
mean
guy's getting to like a
he knows his stuff.
yeah, of
Um,
course. It's really good.
Misfit also asked third question. What are some of the biggest things that helped you improve?
Ooh, some of the biggest things that helped me improve. Hmm.
I mean, I
My
think some of these
time.
things you might want to think back to like when you were playing CS as well, right? Because I think that you know,
Yeah.
a lot of the things that matter, particularly about shooting people, is is quite important in a game like this, right?
Yeah.
Especially as a
No.
sentinel.
100%. So, so repeat the question again. Sorry. So,
What
what
are
are the three things that?
what are some of the
Sorry, go.
biggest things that helped you improve? Or you just give one.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Yeah. So some of the biggest things that helped me improve were. It's hard to explain. It's like it's not. It sounds blunt saying this, but like just play the game as much as you possibly can, and
Mm.
eventually you'll start you'll start picking up fundamentals of how to maneuver, how to move, how to have your cross, where you should put your crosshair, so on and so forth. And the more times you play the game, the higher your awareness will be. So like
Mm.
you've been in the scenario 100 times, and you can pretty much pinpoint where the enemy are going to be rotating to, and how you can like maneuver around the map in such a way where you're confident enough to not be scared about where they are. Like you're in a clutch, and you can just confidently play the collapse without being scared of, oh, it could be behind me, it could be here, it could be here. You need to play the game to a point where your awareness is like good enough, and that just comes with time. Honestly, there's no other way to put it, in my opinion. Like the more you play, the better you get. In as simple as it sounds.
Mm.
But for something more specific, watching my friends play was what really helped me, or getting people to VOD review my game. So obviously yourself, VOD reviewing with your team is incredibly beneficial to improving your game, because they obviously it's super easy for someone else to see the mistakes you've made instead of pointing out your own mistakes. And for instance, I'd get my one of my friends, Brody, who's like a really like a tier two, tier one IGL. He was kind enough to watch games with me, and obviously I'm in a really lucky position to be able to do that. But just find someone that's better than you and watch the game back with them, and they can literally just roast you on everything you're doing wrong, and you will improve from that, believe it or not, if
Mm.
you want to.
I think that's a really, really good point, actually. Even if it's not a coach, right? Like you say, you can sit down and watch someone else's gameplay, and there's a lot that you'll see that they don't, just because you have
Yeah,
another
no, hundred
perspective.
percent. Yeah, like
Um,
yeah, 100%.
so there's a couple of questions that are the same here. So what do you do? Do you have like any preparation that you do for officials, or warm up that you do before games generally?
No, so I do the same warm up every time. I go in the range for 10 minutes. I have all the bots there. I don't do any of the like time trials where you got to kill 30 and then the bots like appear and disappear. I mean, I do that. Pardon me, and I do that occasionally, but it's never consistent. And I just use every gun that I use consistently, like Vandal. I just make sure my mouse feels good, my movements crisp. Get the sheriff out. I just use every gun that I use on a daily, and just warm myself up with it. Get ready to like flick onto people's heads. I sometimes just sit there and like practice my running spray. I honestly practice my running spray because there is a knack to it.
Is
In
there?
Valorant, 100%. There's time and a place where you should be running and
Yes,
where you
true.
shouldn't be. And once you get that down, you can break some ankles and do some like, and it's super funny. Like in an official, you're just running and shooting and killing them, and then you start teabagging them, and then you just know they are so pissed off
You
that
know you've got the
it
mental.
gets in their head.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And yeah, so then I play deathmatch. I think I don't know how exactly how many deathmatch games I have, but it's like close to 1,000 in all time, so it's not that many. Like my IGL Elio, I think he's played like 4,800 deathmatches or something ridiculous.
That's
And
crazy.
the yeah, he plays a lot of deathmatch, and I think he has like an 80% win rate, which is
What?
insane. Yeah. It's insane. He wins
Yeah,
80% of his DMs.
crazy.
So yeah, play deathmatch, play the range. I don't do any aim trainers. I think it's a complete myth that you need to do aim trainers, because all the aim training you need to do is on the game. If you want to improve at the game, you play the game. You don't play aim trainers to like improve like when you play aim trainers, there are some scenarios that could be beneficial, but I don't
Nothing
say
beats playing the game itself, right?
yeah, exactly. Like there's no point like download my aim training software using code X and you get better at the game. You just need to play the game and you'll 100% improve. But yeah, I'm not saying aim training doesn't work, but I feel like there's more effective ways at improving your aim
Mm,
than
mm.
playing an aim trainer. And I'm a bit of a hypocrite because in the last week I have been playing aim labs, but that's just for fun. Like I've been playing like aim lab scenarios just for fun, and that is okay. But don't play aim labs or Kovacs and expect to be a better player because like it doesn't work like that in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is pretty much the last question. Um,
Yeah,
would you say having met I mean, we talked about this as well. Would you say having met your team in real life, has affected your performance? I mean, I think the big yes, right? Big fat stonking
big fat
yes.
yes. Yeah, I love my teammates, and that's purely because I've spent the last 6, 7, 8 months living together every day, playing together every day, having a laugh, and it makes the win so much sweeter when you can like stand up and hug each other or like fist bump every round. It's like it's a different feeling compared to when you're at home and you know you make a mistake and you don't know you can't look at your teammates and see their body language. Like I feel like
Mm,
I'm good at reading how someone feels by just looking at them. And if I wasn't in this building playing together, then I'd have a really hard time understanding how my teammates feel. Like say I did something wrong, I can look to my left and Elio's like there, like I can see he's like upset or and something, and I like talk to him like yo yeah like what did I do wrong, rapata, you know, like
mm,
something like that. And same with all of my other teammates, like they can see when I'm down and like they like you know cheer me up and stuff. It's a really good, it's a really beneficial, and I'd say it's probably the main reason as to why we improved so quickly as a team.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you can see it. Like I said, I mean, I think you're going to be a strong contender for the Ascension League. So I'm
Let's hope
really,
so, man.
yeah. I mean, I want to see it. I definitely want to see it.
Bro,
I'm looking
it'll be lovely. It'll be
I'm looking
absolutely
forward
amazing.
to watching you play in the finals. Who do you reckon you're going to play in the finals? Who do you think's going to win in the semi and
Yeah,
the?
actually really hard to tell to be honest because Angry Titans have a poor track record against CGN, but I personally think Angry Titans are a much better team than CGN in terms of like actual level of gameplay. Like I
Hmm.
think Angry Titans have much better fundamentals than CGN, so I just have to go with Angry Titans. We're going to play in the grand final, and it's going to be a hard game. They're going to be hungry to beat us after we beat them 2-0. So
Yes, yes, I'm sure they are.
it's going to be a slaughter. But yeah, I'm really much looking forward to it, and it's just 3 days from now. 3 days from
Yes,
now.
yes. Well, best of luck for that, and I look forward to watching it. Um, is there anything else you'd like to say while we have people here? Because I think that's pretty much wraps everything up.
Yeah, no, no. Thank you guys for watching. This has been really fun. I love doing this sort of stuff. To be honest, getting a podcast. It's like this is like an interview like slash podcast. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna send this to my mum and stuff. And yeah, she's gonna watch it and have a great time. But
What do you?
let me answer this
Oh,
last question.
that is a good question actually. Yeah. What do you think about Premiere? Because it's an interesting idea.
Yeah, again, like it sounds bad, but like I feel like if the path to Premiere is easier than VCLs, then it's not a good thing. But
Hmm.
I honestly don't. I honestly couldn't tell you. I've been spending too much time playing the game to even think about anything else regarding like how where the game's going. Like I'm just hyper focused on playing every day, making sure my schedule is good and that I'm playing well. But I honestly think Premiere is going to be really fun. I think it's going to take a while for it to be fully implemented into the game, but I think it's going to be a really fun way of like immortal players to like play in a team and like really try to have good fundamentals and etc. But yeah, no, I think I'm really looking forward to it for its release, and I think I'm definitely gonna try it. Like if there's money involved, like I'm definitely gonna play it. 'Cause we'd be able to get some free money, I think. But then again, there's going to be some cracked, insane Radiant teams that are just like running it down and just one tapping everyone. Like I feel like that's very plausible in Premier, where like it's just going to be a slugfest of just running it down and headshot like straight warfare. But I mean that's how a lot of teams play now. So I don't expect anything less. To be honest, I'm looking forward to it. Put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out, and how Riot kind of integrate it into the system, I guess. Because
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
It's not really clear, right, exactly how it's going to work.
No, they haven't released too much, but I'm sure they'll do it. I'm sure they'll pull it off. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it definitely.
Yeah, me too. Okay, well, thanks everyone for watching. And thanks, James, for making the time to do this. I know that you've missed out on a VOD review, you know, important VOD. Well, especially, I mean it, like right before the tournament, you know. I understand how important every last minute can be. So I really appreciate you for making the time, man.
It's no worries at all. I had to pull up for my boy A-Clocks, you know what it is.
Thank you so much. Okay, and thank you guys for
No
being
worries.
here. And I'll
All
see
right,
you
bye-bye,
guys
guys.
soon. Bye-bye.